think we're on the air. From station WDWL TV. Live from Studio B. Located on Grumpy Old Man Road. It's the Grumpy Old Man. Oh, me. And the Grumpy Vulture Show. Take your bow. Oh, that's good. I'll tell you what, bow towards the camera. That worked good. Now, back in your corner. No, you can't stay here. Back in your corner. Or you're going to go over to Studio A. Get back in your corner. I'll put you so that you can be seen. There, yeah, they can see you. Oh, friends. I am so embarrassed. Yesterday, I did an hour stream. Matter of fact, an hour and 3 minutes. And when I did the playback, there was no volume. And I was like, oh, come on. I didn't touch anything. The only thing I did was change from FM disc jockey to AM disc jockey to see if there's a difference between AM and FM mic volume. So, when I did the playback and there was no volume, I was like, I could hear it in my ears. I couldn't understand what happened. And then, as I was moving the microphone away from the console so I could get up, I happened to notice I had the mic on mute for the whole stream. See, the mute button is underneath on this side. And when you mute it, there's a little tiny red light. Well, when I have the mic turned this way, you can't see the little red light. Evidently, when I grabbed the mic to pull it forward, I touched the mute button. So, before I went on the air, I triple checked. I kept going. Okay, green light. Okay, green light. Did the whole stream on mute. Which I shouldn't have deleted it. I should have left it up. Because I'm sure. So, today, I am an AM disc jockey. So, all of you oldsters like me, drop a comment on my faceplant page and let me know if this sounds like the days in Cleveland when we all had Wixie 1260. Remember Wixie 1260 on your dial? Well, let's see if I sound like Mike Ranieri. Oh, I love Mike Ranieri. Wixie's gone bananas was his slogan. And it was hilarious because when he started doing the Wixie's gone bananas, people were sending him fucking bananas in the mail. Yeah. He had more bananas than he knew what to do with. So, before I get into answering a question from a phone call I got today, there are two things I saw on the news. days ago, Sheriff Grady Judd, who is the sheriff of Polk County, Florida, it's around Tampa. I love this guy. He's like an angrier version of Andy of Mayberry. Well, his department busted several Asian massage parlors. They arrested 21 women. And he said one of his undercover deputies went in for a massage. And he said the one woman, the masseuse, came in, grabbed his male appendage with both hands and asked him if he wanted the happy ending massage. Yeah, the happy ending massage. Needless to say, she got the unhappy ending arrest. The reporters in the news conference were laughing their asses off when Grady Judd said, the happy ending massage. I'll tell you what, you've got to watch his news conferences. He is a riot, and he don't mince no words either. Then, yesterday morning, I read a news article about a guy who is suing the Columbia River Fire and Rescue Ambulance Service in Rainier, Oregon. It seems he was minding his own business, riding his bicycle in the bike lane. And an ambulance came up alongside him. Now, remember, he was in the bike lane. As they were approaching the traffic light, it turned green. What do you do on a green traffic light? You continue your journey. Well, as the bicyclist, Mr. Hoesch, Hoesch, I'm going to say it's pronounced Hoesch, continued riding his bicycle when suddenly, without warning, the ambulance made a right turn and ran him and his bicycle over. Yeah. As a matter of fact, the ambulance driver admitted not knowing if he had signaled for a right turn or looked into his right mirror. It's quite obvious he didn't, because they ran Mr. Hoesch over and destroyed his bicycle. So, what do paramedics do when they're ambulance attendants? They scoop up Mr. Hoesch and they take him to the hospital. Now, Mr. Hoesch is recovering from his injuries, and he has already incurred almost $50,000 in medical fees. Now, you followed the story, right? He's riding in the bike lane, minding his own business. The light turns green. He proceeds into the intersection. The ambulance makes a right turn and runs his ass over. If that isn't bad enough, they had the nerve to send him a bill for the ambulance trip to the tune of $1,800. Yes, they run his ass over and then they send him a bill. Needless to say, Mr. Hosh is suing for $900,000. Yes. They run his ass over and then charge him for the ambulance trip, which, had they not run his ass over, he wouldn't have needed an ambulance. If you don't believe me, gargle it. It was in Friday's news. Mr. Hosh, Hoesch, versus the Columbia River Fire and Rescue Ambulance Company in Rainier, Oregon. Talk about adding insult to injury. Yeah. You would think the CEO or the chief would have said, "Whoa, wait a minute. We ran him over. Don't send him a bill." But they did, to the tune of $1,800. And they refused to pay for his bicycle. So he's suing them. And I'll tell you what, I can guarantee they'll probably settle out of court for an undisclosed amount, because they know they don't have an Ice Cube's chance in hell of winning. Especially when the driver admits, "I don't think I signaled, and I don't think I looked in my side view mirror." Yeah. Here's Mr. Hosh riding along, minding his own business, and suddenly the fucking ambulance runs his ass over. And then they send him a bill for $1,800. I'll tell you what, some pretty expensive Band-Aids in that ambulance. $1,800 ambulance trip. And they ran him over. Nothing like creating your own customers. That was the first thing I thought. Business must have been slow that day. They were like, "Gee, we need an ambulance trip. Wait a minute. There's a bicyclist right next to me. Let's run his ass over at the next intersection so that we can get some money." $1,800 for an ambulance ride that they created. I love it. Now, getting back to the phone call I received from a good friend that I grew up with that lived in the neighborhood. Yes, I received a call asking if my father was the ogre I made him out to be, because whenever he was around, my father never even raised his voice. Well, buddy, let me tell you, just because the bruises weren't visible on the parts of my body that were not covered with clothing doesn't mean they weren't there. Yes. And it doesn't mean my spam story was exaggerated. No. If I brought a can of spam into the house and he saw it, it went in the garbage. Even if I paid for it. In the garbage. He would tell me, don't bring that shit in the house. Well, the can ain't open. I don't even want to see the can. The problem was, spam cans at that time had it printed on the can. So I couldn't tear the label off. Although I'm sure he would recognize the can. From his days in WDWL in France, when he was forced to eat spam 30 days straight, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because that was the only rations that got shipped over. I felt like telling him several times, you're fucking lucky you ate. The government paid good money for that spam. You should appreciate it. No. Oh, he ate. Oh, did he hate? Oh. I'll tell you what. The first time I brought a can of spam in the house, I got a fucking lecture for about 2 hours about how he suffered over in France being forced to eat spam every day. Well, it's not like the government could ship you over a T-bone steak. And it's not like there were restaurants where you could get maybe like a baguette and a creme brulee. No. It was WWII. You're lucky you got that. And I'm the one eating it, not you. But no. Oh. I swear, if I was down in the corner of the basement and he was upstairs, he could hear that lid snap open. Yeah. But he bitched about me eating spam when you should have seen some of the shit that he ate. Yeah. He ate a dish that was boiled pig's feet. Yes. Boiled pig's feet. Then you scooped out the pig's feet and put them in bowls. Then you ladled out the liquid and you covered the pig's feet with the liquid and you set it in a cool area like the basement and you covered it with newspaper to protect it. And then it congealed into this ugly piss water looking jello with pig's feet in them. Now, I like pickled pig's feet. Me and Grandpa used to eat them. He introduced me to them. You can still get them in the store, in a jar. But there's hardly any fucking thing. Yeah. Little jar, maybe one or two toes. You can't get a big jar of pickled pig's feet. No, you get this little, made by Hormel, the same makers of Spam. I buy them now and then, but there's not enough there to eat. It's like you get a taste. He would bitch about my Spam, and this shit in a bowl looked like something he scooped out of the bottom of a Chinese restaurant dumpster and smelled just as bad. Nothing like jellied pig's feet. Yeah, he just throw them in a pot, boil the fuck out of them, scoop them out, put them in a bowl, ladle the liquid in, and then it congealed like jello. It was called, in Hungarian, kuchina or kuchina, something like that. Kuchina. I called it shit in a bowl. And he would bitch about my Spam. I think in German it's called Stolz or something like that. All you Germans out there, don't be on my lawn at midnight with pitchforks and torches. I'm not sure what the pronunciation is. I remember vaguely Stolz, something. In Hungarian it was kuchina or kuchina. Translated into English, shit in a bowl. Oh, it was the most hideous. And then he would sit at dinner time and eat it in front of me. Now, whatever was on my plate, I lost my fucking appetite for watching him swill down that bowl of crap. Oh, it smelled bad, it looked bad, and the day he was boiling it, oh, I would rather stand in front of a slaughterhouse for 8 hours and inhale the vapors than smell that in the kitchen. And then he bitched about my Spam. Ugh. Yeah. Boiled pig's feet that turned into jello pig's feet. And it didn't have to be refrigerated. Once it gelled, it was jello. Pig's feet jello. Blah. And he bitched about my Spam. So that answers part of your question. There were many others. See, and I've mentioned this before. In 1947, he was a Golden Gloves boxer. There used to be a boxing ring down on Clinton. Yeah, the building got torn down, I think. But yeah, there was a boxing ring down on Clinton, Ridge and Clinton. And in 1948, my mother turned pro. She was a wrestler. I knew what a full Nelson was before I knew how to pronounce it. Yeah. You take a boxer who marries a wrestler, and then you have kids. And then you wonder why I'm so fucked up. There's a combination for you. A marriage made in heaven. Yeah. A boxer marrying a professional wrestler. You don't believe me? Call my sister. She's got the scrapbooks. She wouldn't let me have any of the pictures. Yeah. She used to wrestle in the old Cleveland arena. All you young kids, gargle it. The Cleveland arena. The same place where we used to have a hockey team. Yeah, the Cleveland Barons. See, at one time, Cleveland had a hockey team, and then it got sold. Like our football team, that got sold. It seems like the owners of sports teams just get them for the money. I was lucky enough to attend a couple of hockey games when the Cleveland Barons were playing in the old Cleveland arena. Yeah, Grandpa took me. Think my father would fucking take me? Oh, no. Waste of fucking money. What? You want me to spend my hard-earned money to take you to see a hockey game? Well, yeah. Don't even think of it. Okay. But Grandpa did. I asked him one day, when we were coming back from the market on a Saturday, before our heathen feast, I said, Grandpa, could we go to a hockey game sometime? And he said, oh, sure. I'll get tickets for the next game. And he did. And I got to see hockey in person. If I waited for my father, I would be watching hockey on YouTube. That's how long I would have had to wait. Yeah. Grandpa took me to baseball games, hockey games, to the circus. Oh, he was like a little kid when the circus came to town. I couldn't get my father to take me to the corner delicatessen. You got 2 feet? Walk. I remember one day it was raining. And I said, could you run me up to the delicatessen? He said, wait a minute. Don't you know of the Shoe Leather Express? I said, no, what's that? It's your 2 fucking feet. Walk. I said, but it's raining. Do you know how to spell umbrella? Why, yes. Well, spell it while you're holding it over your head using the Shoe Leather Express to walk to the fucking delicatessen. Okay. And I did. I could guarantee my father was praying that I would get struck by lightning. Yeah. Matter of fact, I never knew he was an alcoholic until he came home sober one day. And I asked my mother, I said, "Who's that guy in the kitchen?" She said, "Well, it's your father." "Why?" I said, "He's acting like a human." She said, "Keep your voice down. He's liable to go get a six-pack." Okay. And once I became old enough, like 18. See, back in the day, at 18, you could drink. Then they raised it to 21. But in the days when I was 18, if I had to discuss anything with my father, the only place he would discuss it would be at the VFW. Yeah. I'd say, "Dad, I need to talk about car insurance. Meet me at the VFW." "I don't want to meet you at the VFW." "You heard what I said." Yeah. I would have to meet him at the VFW because that's where he conducted business. It is reserved bar stool. Yeah. He had a reserved bar stool that no one could sit in. See, he would go up to the bar like at 2 o'clock every day. So at 1:30, the barmaid would throw anyone out of the bar stool because it was reserved. See, he would never sit with his back to the door. He had the bar stool at the end of the bar so he could lean against the wall and look to see who's coming in the door. So it would be drink here, door there, wall back there. Another reason, if there wasn't a wall to support him, he would fall on his ass because he drank Boilermakers. Gargle it, you youngsters. A Boilermaker is a whiskey and a beer. And he got his whiskey in a juice glass and a mug of beer. And he would take a drink of whiskey and take a drink of beer and take a drink of whiskey and take a drink of beer. Well, it didn't take too many of them to get him thoroughly wasted. And then he would drive home. They would have to help him to the car. And then he drove home. Luckily, it was only a couple of blocks. And he never got cited for DUI. He also totaled 3 cars. Because, see, when he would leave work, he would stop at the bar over on the east side where he worked and then get thoroughly wasted and try to drive home. Yeah, we had 3 cars, 3 different intervals. that the left side was perfect, but the right side had the guardrail indentation down the whole side of the car. Yeah, 3 times. And never got cited. That's because after he had the accident, he never stopped. It was like, oops, better drive home. Pull in the driveway, open the garage, pull the car in, close the door. He was lucky because that was before cell phones. It was just about the time of CB radios. But he got lucky because nobody ever reported it. And if they did, they never got the license number because the police never showed up at the house. But yeah, 3 totaled cars. You don't believe me? I'd say gargle it, but you can't look that up. You have to take my word for it. One was a Ford Fairlane. One was a Buick Riviera. And one was a Cadillac. They all came home with guardrail marks. Oh, and they were deep, too. Oh, it was like the factory built the car using a guardrail die to the body. I don't know how he managed to get them home, but he did. Yeah. It was fun growing up. I'm surprised I made it to my age that I am now. There were times before I turned 21, I didn't think I was going to live to the next day. Yeah, you didn't piss him off. Oh, no. You ever get punched by a Golden Gloves boxer? Yeah. He knocked me across the room several times. Matter of fact, we had 4 different aluminum side doors. They call them storm doors, you know. Yeah, he put me through 4 of them. I was like, can I open the door? No, I'll help you. I'm lucky the bruises don't show today. And then everybody wonders why Grumpy is a crab-ass son of a bitch. I earned the right. Growing up with 2 alcoholics. One was a Golden Gloves boxer, and one was a professional wrestler. 2 parents you didn't dare fuck with. Oh, no, no. You didn't even think of it. I used to sleep with one eye open. I never knew when one was possibly going to attack. Then my parents always used to wonder why I was never home. My father would be like, can't you stay home one night? No. Why? Did you and Mom ever look in the mirror and answer your own question? I thought that. Believe me, I didn't say it. Oh, no. If I'd have said that, I wouldn't be here today. Or I would be like disfigured. life. Yeah. So, buddy, does that answer your question? Oh, he was. Oh, an ice cube wouldn't melt in his mouth if friends were around. Oh, heaven forbid. No, He didn't want my friends to know what kind of ogres I had for parents. Oh, they polished their halos. There'd be a knock at the door. It'd be one of my friends. Hi, Mr. Wally. Is Dale home? Oh, yes. Come right in. He's downstairs. Thank you. Enjoy your day. Then they would leave. And my father would be like, did you have to make so much fucking noise down there? I'll save up for my paper route and soundproof the room. How's that? Yeah. And you were over. You saw the happy parents. You didn't see the drunken ogres. No. Come right in. We're polishing our halos. We're wonderful parents. See, that was the day before Child Protective Services. See, today, if a parent even gives a kid a dirty look, they pick up their cell phone. Hello, Child Protective Services. My parents are abusing me. We'll be right out. Not in my day. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you how things were. If you did something wrong at a neighbor's house, the neighbor would beat the fuck out of you and then drag you home and tell your parents, who in turn would beat the fuck out of you. Yeah. They could get away with that shit back in the day. Oh, yeah. And if somebody would call the police would say, well, that's how you reprimand your children. How you expect them to grow up to be little angels if you don't let the neighbor beat the shit out of them. And then when the neighbor brings them home, you beat the shit out of them. Then you have wonderful kids that obey. We were afraid to fucking breathe back in the day. Not today. Oh, kids get away with murder. You got an iPhone 15. Yeah, but the iPhone 16 is out. No. Hello, Child Protective Services. My parents are being mean to me. We'll be right out. And then, when Child Protective Services shows up, the kid gets the iPhone 16 Pro Max, top of the line. And the parents get a warning. You don't believe it? Just check with Child Protective Services. Yeah. Kids can report their parents. And kids can lie like little assholes. Oh, they can invent shit. Oh, Child Protective Services, my parents locked me in my bedroom without food for a week. Really? Oh, we'll send the police out to arrest your parents. Thank you. And then when the police show up, the kid stands there and goes, gotcha. Yeah, kids get away with murder today. They put their parents in fear. Where, when I was growing up, the parents instilled the fear of God in the kid. The old spare the rod and spoil the child. And my mother had some good, she had some wooden spoons. You could run over them with a tank and they wouldn't break. And they hurt. Yeah. Whack! Ow! That's going to leave a bump. Then wear a hat to school. I'm not allowed to wear a hat in class. I'll write a note so that your teacher lets you. So that they don't see that big, huge knot on your head from my wooden spoon. Yeah, parents always made sure if they hit you in an area that was covered by clothing. Yeah, so the bruises wouldn't show. You'd go to school. It'd be 98 degrees. Schools didn't have air conditioning. We had them things called windows. Yeah, they would let more hot air in. You'd be wearing a long sleeve shirt buttoned to the neck, sweating your balls off. And your teacher would ask, why do you have the long sleeve shirt on? I was cold. It's 98 degrees. Well, I have a temperature inversion problem. No, the long sleeve shirt was covering the fucking bruises. You think back in the day, teachers rolled up your sleeves? Oh, no. But today, if a kid comes in with a little tiny bruise, teachers are like, what's that? Oh, my parents. Oh, don't say any more. We'll call CPS for you. Even if the parents didn't cause the bruise. Yeah. Can't get away with that shit back in my day. There was no CPS. And if you called the police, they would side with your parents. You were a rotten son of a bitch. You deserved that beating. Okay. Sorry. Then when the police left, you got your fucking ass beat again for calling the police. And that was before 911. Yeah, we had to remember the whole number. And we had a rotary dial phone. 2, 5. No, it was 6, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. That was the police. The fire was 631 1212. Or was it 621? It might have been 621. 1, 2, 3, 4 was police. 1, 2, 1, 2 was fire. But I guarantee, if your parents beat you and you started to dial the phone, you never got past 1, 2. Hang that phone up. Ow! Did you have to hit me with the receiver? Well, I told you to hang the phone up. You ain't calling the police on us. We'll tell the police it was your fault. Then I would go down in the basement and hide. You know. Oh, I didn't try that phone call shit. No. I wanted to breathe, you know. I wanted to live another day. Oh, if you're watching, I'm not exaggerating. You grew up the Same era. We're both the same age. And don't tell me your parents were two little angels. Parents weren't like that back in the 50s. No. If they were, they weren't your parents. They were somebody else's. So does that answer your question, buddy, pal, childhood friend, who thought my parents were halo polishers? Well, they were when you were around, but you weren't there 24/7. Yeah. You call me and go, are you exaggerating? No, I'm not exaggerating. And I had to wait until I was 73 to tell some of these stories. Because I don't want to get beat. Got it? I know you don't believe me. Oh, you're telling stories, Grumpy. Okay. You asked a question and I answered it. And then everybody wonders why I couldn't wait till Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. Because that's when Grandpa would pick me up. And I could do no wrong. Because I was the first grandson. Well, I was the only one. I had two sisters. But I lucked out because I was firstborn. And Grandpa spoiled the fuck out of me. Especially when we go to the market. Oh, the smoky stand. He would ask me on the way to the market, were you good all week? Oh, yes, Grandpa. I was a little angel. Okay, we'll stop at the smoky stand. Oh, boy. Although we stopped at the smoky stand every Saturday, but he kind of liked to humor me. Okay, we'll stop at the smoky stand. Because he knew I liked smoky. And then, 5 o'clock Sunday afternoon, I would get sad. Because Grandpa would take me home. Oh. Can I stay? No, you have school. Ah, fuck. I didn't say that in front of Grandpa, though. I thought it. But summer vacation? Oh, boy. I spent a lot of summer vacation with Grandpa. Because he was retired. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and Saturday, we would go to the market. And Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, I would get smokies. Yeah. And we would get smoked fish and pepperoni and rye bread, a nice big onion, and Limburger cheese. And Grandma would throw a shit fit. Must you do that every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday? That's our heathen feast. I don't know why she wouldn't fucking leave the house. No. She would stand bitching at us, fanning her apron. like it was some kind of jet engine. It was going to blow the stink out. Well, it didn't until we finished the sandwiches and wrapped up the leftover Limburger. And then what would really piss her off, if Grandpa and I would snack before bedtime with crackers and Limburger cheese. Oh, God, she would throw a fit. You tormented me at lunch. Now you're going to torment me before bedtime? I'm going to have to smell that all night long. She'd be fanning the apron. Grandpa and I would have the saltine crackers and the Limburger cheese squares. Yummy! Yeah. It was fun. The problem was, you didn't dare piss Grandma off too much because she held the checkbook. She threatened Grandpa, "Do you want your allowance?" "Well, yes." "Don't piss me off. I got the checkbook." What she didn't know was Grandpa would withhold a little money out of his paycheck so that we could have our heathen feast. Yeah. I think she knew, but he would always tell me, "Don't tell Grandma." "My lips are sealed, Grandpa." Oh, him and I had fun. Ah, yeah. I could do no wrong. And he liked to show me off. Every time we went to the market, same routine. And it was funny because all the vendors played along. Every time they see me, they would act like it was the first time. "Oh, that's your grandson? Here, have some Smokies. Here, have a porterhouse steak." Wherever we went. "Here, have some spare ribs. Grandpa talks about you all the time. He said you're a good boy. Want some more Smokies? Here. Thank you." Yep. We played the game, and they played the game back. Too bad I can't revisit those days, but it was good, happy memories. Kind of erased the bad memories of growing up at home in the torture house. Oh, your parents are just such wonderful people. What? You ain't living with them. That was before, video cameras like today. Kids could video their parents and then call CPS. I got some screenshots I'll send you. Okay, you got my address. Yeah, kids today get away with fucking murder. They hold their parents hostage. Can I get a new iPad? No. Your iPad's only 6 months old. But the new one's out. No. I'm calling CPS. Okay, we'll go to the Apple store. Get in the car. Yeah, the way it is today. Kids hold their parents hostage. And then everybody wonders why kids are so fucked up today. We need a little corporal punishment. I survived, and I think I got enough corporal punishment for every kid in the neighborhood. Here I am. But no, not kids today. They've got every Xbox ever made, every PlayStation ever made, every fucking iPhone ever produced, every fucking iPod, every fucking iPhone, and I watch. Not back in my day. If a kid wanted something, they worked for it. They saved their money. I would do things like collect pop bottles. Yeah, back in the day, we got money for pop bottles. That's how we got money. We would scrounge the neighborhood for pop bottles. Today, kids just walk up to their parents. You need to reload my Cash App. I don't have any funds. And the parents do it right there. How much do you need? 200? Okay. Don't call CPS. Kids standing there with their iPhone. Okay, you're lucky it went through. I just sit and think about when they have kids. Then they will know what they put their parents through. Although I can almost imagine what it'll be like 25 years from now. If kids are as bad as they are now, they'll be 5 times worse. I told you the story about a friend of mine whose daughter is in a clique, a coven. And they're all ritzy, hoity-toities. We all have the new iPhone 16 Pro Maxes. You still got a 15. You can't be in the clique. Oh, no. Then she goes home and tells her mother, I can't be in the clique anymore. Well, why's that, sweetheart? I don't have an iPhone 16 Pro Max. Well, you've got a 15 Pro Max that you've only had for 7 months. Yeah, but the rest of the girls got the 16s, and I can't be in the clique. Okay, let me get my credit card, get in the car. We'll go out to the Apple store out at Davy Crocker Park. And then they go out to Davy Crocker Park. And she gets her iPhone 16 Pro Max. And then she has to have the latest iWatch and the latest iPad. And I don't even know if they still use iPods because you can put all your music on your phone. But yeah, all my friends have the newest iPhone. And they won't let me associate with them. I'll be banished. I'll turn into a You'll turn into a what? Some nasty kid. Well, gee, you're holding me hostage already over a goddamn phone. How much more nasty can you get? 3 letters, Mom. CPS. I'm getting my keys. Get in the car. We'll go right out to Davy Crocker Park right now. And then the clerk at the iPhone store goes, you were just here 7 months ago. What's wrong with your phone? And Mom goes, click. Oh, I'll be right out with the iPhone selection. What color would you like? Oh, I'll take the matte mint green. Okay, Mom, that'll be $1,005. Here's my credit card. Do you have the? Do I need to buy an iWatch or an iPad? No, Mom, I'm okay. Maybe next week. And out they go with the new phone in the bag. Then she goes to school the next day. Look what I got! An iPhone 16 Pro Max. You can come back in the clique now. We're all BFFs now. Kids today. Android. Motorola. Works perfect. Makes phone calls. Sends text messages. I can gargle on it. I can take pictures. I don't need an iPhone 16 Pro Max. I don't have to be in a clique. I could have a flip phone. As a matter of fact, how about a Motorola brick? My first cell phone. A Motorola brick. And it weighs about as much as a brick. See that screen? You needed a magnifying glass to see the numbers. And you were lucky if you could make a phone call across the street. That's how shitty cell phone service was. Motorola brick. No texting. No camera. And you kids think you got it rough? Try lugging one of these around. No texting. No camera. No streaming videos. You couldn't even gargle on it. All it did was make phone calls and receive phone calls. That was it. Motorola brick. Gargle it, the first cell phone. Motorola brick. They called it the brain fryer because it emitted really strong RF signals. Maybe that's why I'm so fucked up. This caused it. And back in the day, $1,285. And it was 75 cents a minute. You didn't get no phone plan. You paid by the minute. Motorola brick. There it is. Grumpy's first cell phone. It's now a paperweight on my desk. Heaven forbid it falls over. My Motorola brick phone. Why don't it want to stand upright? The hell's going on here? There. It weighs as much as a brick. And you can see how aerodynamic it is. And you kids today bitch about your cell phones. Try that sometime. Today, there's a cell tower about every 20 feet. Back when cell phone service just started, there was cell towers about every 20 miles. I'd be lucky if I could make a call across the street. But I had a cell phone. I'd say, look, I have a cell phone. People would say, what the fuck's a cell phone? It don't have no wires. Not connected to anything. Yeah. I can make a phone call. Well, so can I if I go home. See, but I don't have to go home. And most of my friends would be like, why do you want somebody to be in touch with you 24/7? Don't you want some time to yourself? I said, well, yeah, I just turned it off. Back in the good old days, Motorola brick. Gargle it, kids. Read up on it. There'll be a quiz next week. I'll ask you questions to see if you actually gargled Motorola brick phone. And you think you got it tough. Oh, you can text, make a phone call, play a game, watch TV, streaming videos. I could make a phone call. That was it. Oh, I gotta have the newest. Oh, yeah. I'm sure my friend can't wait until her daughter graduates high school because she won't have to buy a new iPhone every 6-7 months. As fast as Apple introduces them. Oh, yeah. They introduced the iPhone 16 Pro Max on a Wednesday. Thursday morning, the Click all had their new iPhones, except her daughter. Okay, get in the car. I'll get my credit card. And then she wonders why the kids are like they are today. I just tell her, say no. N-O. And she comes back with CPS. Okay. And then I tell her, well, just you'll get your enjoyment when your daughter has kids. By then, they'll be like the iPhone 397 Pro Max. But yeah, heaven forbid daughter can't be in the clique or the coven or whatever they call it, BFFs, the BFF clique. As soon as the newest iPhone or iWatch or iPad comes out, the whole clique. Matter of fact, I'm sure the employees at the Apple store are like, well, the new iPhone has been out for 4 hours. They should be here any minute. Bring them out. Put them on the counter. Because we only have one Apple store at Davy Crockett Park. I've never been in it. Drove past it once. I was like, oh, the Apple store. So what? Keep driving. I don't need an iPhone or an iWatch or an iPad or an iPod. I haven't heard about iPods in ages. I don't even know if they still sell them. All I know is when I see the Apple introduction on YouTube for the newest iPad or iWatch or iPhone, I know my friend will be making a trip to the Davy Crockett store. The Apple store at Davy Crockett Park. Yeah. Otherwise, she won't be able to live in the house. Mom, I don't have my new iPhone yet. Well, I haven't got paid yet. What's that number for CPS? Okay, wait, I'll get my credit card. Hostage. Parents are hostages nowadays. Not grumpy. Motorola. Android. I don't have to be in a clique. As a matter of fact, Motorola Android on Consumer Cellular. I'm cheap. But see, all I have to do is make a phone call or send a text message. I don't need to multitask. Works for me. Yeah, I have friends. We were talking Sunday. No, Monday. She called me Monday. They were busy Sunday. Usually we talk every Sunday. She goes, gee, I have a iPhone SE. I need to upgrade. I said, why? Can't you make phone calls? Can't you send text message? Oh, no. Apple will stop supporting this phone. What? Oh, yeah. We won't get the updates. I said, what? Oh, yeah. Even Apple holds their customers hostage. Every so often, you are forced to get a newer iPhone because sooner or later, yours won't work. My last Motorola phone was 10 years old. It still worked. I just wanted a newer one. Motorola didn't put a gun to my head. You must buy a new phone. Yeah. She told me my Apple phone won't work. I won't get the updates. So I have to go buy a newer one. I said, well, how much newer do you have to go? Well, I have to get a 12 or a 13. Oy vey. Yeah. Another reason I don't own any Apple products. Because they put a gun to your head and they force you to upgrade. I'll stick with my Android. Thank you. I couldn't believe it. Yeah. They won't update a phone that reaches a certain age. So you're forced to go buy a newer one. Not for me. I liked Steve Jobs. I didn't like him that much. Oh, I remember when the first iPhone came out. Oh, there were lines, for miles. People standing up. I need to get a new phone. I want a new Apple. Oh, yeah. I said, what's the big deal? It's a phone. Oh, but it's an Apple. It's an iPhone. Yeah. And, well, you can do a lot of things. Like what? Well, if I need to look something up, I can access the internet. What's so important that you have to access the internet like now? You can't wait till you get home with your computer or your laptop. Oh, no. That's how Steve got everybody. Oh, you could be on the go and multitask on your phone. I don't need to multitask that bad that it can't wait until I'm home at my computer. But my friend's daughter, she'll be on the phone, sending a text message, talking to somebody, playing a game, watching a streaming video, all at the same time. What's so important about it? Not for me. I'm an Android. Thank you very much. Motorola. Well, I went a little longer than normal. That's because last night I wasted an hour and 3 minutes sitting here talking into the microphone, looking at the camera with no audio. Green light's still on. I didn't know it was that sensitive. I grabbed the microphone, muted myself, and see if you're not looking. Like right now, if I hit the button, I don't know. Until I look down and go, uh-oh, red light. I learned last night, check the mute button. And with that, I'm going to mute myself. And I will chat with you